This video contains content that may be confronting.
The moment of impact. As Israel's hourly bombardment of Gaza continues, fresh strikes across the occupied territory, including in Deir al-Balah in the centre of the Strip, which until now has been relatively untouched. Among the dead are children who'd sought safety in the area, fleeing southern Gaza only to be killed in a hail of bullets and shelling.
We were targeted by heavy gunfire from the occupation's vehicles, tanks and soldiers, directly and intensively.
Gaza's health authorities say the number of Palestinians killed has now passed 59,000 people. The mounting death toll and the humanitarian crisis gripping the Strip, prompting Australia to join with more than 24 other countries in calling for an immediate end to the war. The suffering of civilians in Gaza has reached new depths, the joint statement reads. We condemn the drip-feeding of aid and the inhumane killing of civilians, including children, seeking to meet their most basic needs of water and food. We call on the Israeli government to immediately lift restrictions on the flow of aid.
I think that statement reflects the real distress that so many Australians feel about what they're seeing in Gaza. They are concerned, distressed by the catastrophic humanitarian situation that we are seeing.
Of course we want to see aid reach those who deserve it, but it is so important that Hamas, that has control often over the flow of that aid, but certainly over the ongoing, completely unacceptable detention of those hostages, act in the interests of the people of Gaza.
Hamas has welcomed the joint statement, while Israel slammed it, saying the crisis is Hamas's fault. The Israeli foreign minister arguing, if Hamas embraces you, you're in the wrong place. The US ambassador to Israel describing the joint statement as disgusting. Many will likely doubt how effective a shift in rhetoric will be, given it's done very little to force Israel to change course to this point. But it does show that fewer and fewer countries are willing to back Israel wholeheartedly. For the Palestinians on the ground and the families of Israeli hostages still without their loved ones, that will only matter once this war is brought to an end. Matthew Doran, ABC News, Jerusalem.
Public outrage around the globe as the Palestinian death toll climbed into the tens of thousands has been followed only slowly by official statements from governments reluctant to criticise Israel. The position of the United States as the only country with a real capacity to influence Israel, both through cutting aid and military hardware, has long allowed other nations to feel they could hide behind the US lack of action. But the new development in this terrible conflict, which has seen Israel close down the usual paths for humanitarian aid and replace them with a US Israeli-backed aid organisation of questionable merit, poses a more immediate and tangible point of pressure. The shocking daily tally of men, women and children killed while standing in line waiting for food and water has now seen this joint statement by 28 countries condemning Israel's actions. But how can Australia exert any real influence? Humanitarian groups want Australia to escalate its response. So far, the Albanese government has only escalated its rhetoric.